I got my opinion about this, and maybe my opinion is not going to fit well with mainstream. I'm going to play this story about an undocumented alien who was one of the people that was killed in that Orlando murder terrorist act, and about this woman's father, who was the brother of one of those killed, and they are going to cry the blues about the brother having to make a decision whether to attend the funeral or not. And they're going to have the funeral, I guess, in Mexico. And they're afraid that, which they should be, that he won't be able to come back into the country. So let me just play the entire clip, and then I'll give you my opinion on it.
He was an undocumented immigrant, and he didn't come here to judge anyone. He didn't come here to fight with anybody. He just wanted a normal American, they say American dream life.
Brenda Marie Gonzalez lost her uncle, 25-year-old Juan Chavez Martinez, in the massacre last weekend at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando. Chavez Martinez was an undocumented immigrant from Mexico who worked as a housekeeping supervisor for a hospitality company. Co-workers describing him to the Orlando Sentinel as an excellent boss and person universally loved. Now his family wants to take him back to Mexico to be laid to rest. But there's one big problem. Juan's brother, Brenda's dad, is also an undocumented immigrant living in Florida. And if he leaves this country to attend the funeral, he won't be able to come back. Telemundo correspondent Rogelio Moratagle spoke with Brenda Marie Gonzalez last night at a vigil for her Uncle Juan, and she described the excruciating choice her father now faces on top of his grief.
For him to go through this, knowing that what his brother went through, the least we can do is just let him go see his family that he hasn't seen in years, and let him be part of his funeral. We don't want him. It's gonna break up the family if he does go. He's not gonna be able to come back, but it's gonna break it up, and we don't want that. That's why we want him to get a passport to go and come back to us. Obviously, everyone here works, goes to school here, and everything else, and he works here also to provide for the kids and my mom, and they've been through so much already that they shouldn't worry about anything other than taking him and burying him and coming back home. Our hearts are just breaking, and they continue to break, and I think forever they're going to break. My heart is, I feel like it's a dream. I can't believe this. We don't want him to leave our family at all. We don't want him to leave our family. We don't want him to go and not come back.
I'm joined now by...
All right, I'm not even going to go through the propaganda on one side or the other. This is my take on this. Her father is here illegally. They're not deporting him at the moment, which they legally could, okay? So he's being allowed to stay here, I guess under DAMA or the DREAM Act. You know, the DREAM Act is for the kids. I think DAMA is for the parents of the kids. Anyway, they're not deporting him at this moment, which they legally could. Have a funeral here for the people that are here, okay? Then, if you're going to have him taken back to Mexico, the illegal guy stays here, and they just turn around, have another funeral in Mexico, and bury him there. Problem solved. No, you want special rules because of your tragedy, and my heart goes out to every single person that lost a loved one in that tragedy. But now you want special rules to allow you, an illegal, or your father, an illegal person, illegally here, to leave the country and then to legally come back. Well, there is a way to legally come back. You go back down to Mexico, you apply for a visa, and you come back. Now, I'm sorry that you can't apply for a visa and get an instant clearance immediately. You're going to have to go through the same visa process that is the illegal process. But for you to cry that you've gone through so much and that the rules should be bent or broken for your dad, well, I got one for you. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of people every year that have a loved one that has passed away. Should we let every single person that's in prison out of prison in order to attend a funeral? They don't make special accommodations for them, and they're U.S. citizens. So why are you asking for a special accommodation to be made for you? You have a solution. Have a funeral here. Put your brother on a plane or whatever. Get him taken down to Mexico. Have the family down there. Have a funeral for them, and then, place them in the ground and call it a day. It happens all the time. People have multiple funerals. In my family, we had people that died in California. We had a funeral for the relatives that were in California and the friends and all the people that wanted to attend, and it was a large funeral. We then had his body shipped to St. Louis, where he had another bunch of family members and friends there. We had another funeral there. Then we had his body transported to Mississippi, and it was like a 6.5, 7-hour drive, which I took down to Mississippi. We had a third funeral down there, and that's where he was interred. Your problem is not that difficult. You do not have to be at both funerals. You can attend one, say what you need to say goodbye to your brother, and then let him be interred. Now, as far as her bringing up he hasn't seen family in years, hey, he can go back and see family anytime he wants. The problem is, if he leaves Florida, if he leaves the country, he cannot legally come back without a visa. Get over it. Get over it. Again, I'm not getting on the family or anybody else that has lost a loved one, either in Orlando or any place else, when that situation arises. But you have a simple solution. Have a funeral here, and then let the body be transported back to wherever it's going, and let them have another funeral there. For her to get on MSNBC and cry a river about her family being broken up, it doesn't have to be broken up. All he's going to have to do is, make his peace with his brother here, and then let the rest of the events go on as they will. And I know I'm going to probably catch hell for this, but that is the solution. It's a simple one, and it doesn't really put anybody out. The only thing that's missing is he doesn't actually get to see his brother put into the ground.